In the vibrant and bustling city of Lagos, Bella's life was one of ambition, passion, and careful control. As an event planner, she had worked tirelessly to carve out a name for herself in the competitive industry, earning accolades and respect from peers and clients alike. She was confident, poised, and beautiful. But beneath her perfect facade was a secret she guided with every ooze of her being. She had struggled with bedwetting since childhood. Though she has learned to cope with it, avoiding sleepovers, never staying over at anyone's place, and ensuring her secret was never revealed, there was always an undercurrent of shame that followed her. She had kept this vulnerability hidden for years, convinced that no one would ever love her if they knew. Her relationship with Odion had been everything she had ever hoped for. He was charming, kind, and incredibly successful in his own right. They met through a mutual friend at a party, and from the moment they locked eyes, there was an instant connection. Odion was attentive, thoughtful, and seemed to genuinely care for her in a way that Bella has never experienced before. For the first time, Bella allowed herself to imagine a future where she can share her life with someone without fear of judgment. But even with Odion, Bella's secret loomed like a shadow in their relationship. She loved him deeply, but the fear of him discovering her condition made her distance herself from truly letting him in. One night, after a romantic dinner, Bella allowed herself to take a leap of faith. She invited Odion to spend the night with her at her apartment. The evening started perfectly. Laughter, soft music, and the warmth of each other's company. But as they lie in bed, Bella's anxiety grew. Her body tensed, and she tried to sleep, knowing that if the worst happened, she would be exposed. She didn't want Odion to see the true extent of her struggles, but she couldn't control her body's natural response. The inevitable happened. Bella woke up in the middle of the night, the dampness creeping through the sheet. Her heart sank into her stomach. She had been so careful for years, but now she had no escape. She lay still, praying he wouldn't notice, her breathing shallow as she listened for any sound of movement from Odion. But he wasn't asleep. Odion stood next to her, his body stiffening. There was a pause, and then he spoke in a low, almost accusing voice. "Bella, did you wet the bed?" The word hit her like a slap, and her entire world seemed to freeze. She could feel the panic rising in her chest, but there was no way to hide it now. The one thing she has hidden from everyone, even her closest friend, was exposed. Odion's voice was no longer filled with concern, but with something colder. "Bella, all this time, I thought you were perfect, but this is something else." She could hear the judgment in his voice, the disappointment creeping in as he sat up in the bed, distancing himself from her. "This is unacceptable," he continued. "I can't take this." Bella felt her throat close. "Odion, please." But Odion cut her off, his words sharp. "No, Bella, you've been hiding this from me. You think I can just accept this? This is beyond anything I can handle. I'm sorry, this can't do anymore." Tears welled up in Bella's eyes as he quickly gathered his things and stormed out of the room. She was left alone in the darkness, the weight of the betrayal heavy on her chest. But for the first time in her life, Bella felt utterly broken. She had loved Odion with all her heart, but his reaction to her vulnerability shattered her in a way she couldn't explain. She felt as though she had lost everything: her dignity, her love, and her belief in herself. Odion's rejection cut deeper than the bedwetting itself. She had opened up, let her guard down, and she had been met with judgment and scorn. In the days that followed, Bella shut herself off from the world. She threw herself into her work, trying to bury the pain, but it followed her everywhere. She couldn't escape the feeling of shame, of never being enough, or being worthy of love. But as time passed, Bella began to realize that her story wasn't over. She wasn't defined by the rejection of one man. She wasn't defined by her condition. Slowly, she began to reclaim herself. It was then that she met Kunle. Kunle was a friend of a friend and a quiet, thoughtful man who worked in the tech industry. Their first meeting was brief, just a passing conversation at a business networking event. But something about him struck Bella. He had a calm presence, a gentle way of speaking that made her feel at ease. He was unlike anyone she had met before. Over time, they began to talk more, sharing small details of their life over coffee and lunch breaks. Bella found herself looking forward to their conversation, his easygoing nature, a breath of fresh air in a world that has been harsh. Kunle didn't judge her or pry into her personal life. He simply listened, a kind smile always on his face, and a quiet respect in his eyes. One evening, as they sat in a cafe, Bella felt a similar weight in her chest. She had come to trust Kunle, and yet the fear of rejection still loomed large. She had never told anyone about her bedwetting problems, but she knew she couldn't keep this from him if things were going to get serious. With a deep breath, she said, "Kunle, there's something I need to share with you. It's not easy, and I've hidden it for so long, but I want to be honest with you." Kunle's eyes softened as he looked at her, his expression open and calm. "Bella, you can tell me anything." And so, with trembling hands, Bella shared her secret. She expected shock or worse, pity. She braced herself for the disappointment she has grown so accustomed to. But to her surprise, Kunle simply nodded, his voice filled with warmth. "Bella, I am not here to judge you. I am here to understand you, to be by your side. Your past is your struggle. They don't define you. What matters to me is the person you are right now. And I see someone strong, beautiful, and worthy of love." The tears that had been trapped in Bella's heart for so long finally fell, but this time they were tears of relief. Kunle didn't just accept her, he embraced her. He didn't see her as broken, he saw her as whole. With Kunle, Bella realized that love wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about hiding flaws or pretending to be someone she wasn't. True love was about acceptance, compassion, and the willingness to stand by each other through the darkest time. Bella had finally found the right person who didn't need her to be perfect, and for the first time in her life, she felt free.